Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so very, very much for staying up with us and making 12 Sports tonight a part of your Sunday evening. And can I just say, it is so good to see baseball back in our lives again, Cam.
Well said, Coop, but is it safe? We're going to ask the players, plus Suns going to Orlando, and why ASU head coach Herm Edwards could be sleeping in a hotel room this fall.
And he was supposed to be a game changer for the Coyotes until injuries got in the way. How a healthy Phil Kessel now plans to lead his team to a postseason run.
Man, Coyotes in playoffs sound good. But as always, we start with the best of the night, a reminder from Mom. All-Star Mike Trout's mom, to be exact. She shared this message on Twitter. If Mike can wear a mask running the bases, you can wear a mask going out in public. On Friday, despite reporting to camp, the Angels outfielder said he's still not sure if it's safe to play this season. And speaking of staying safe,
we're doing whatever we're asked. It is weird. You know, there are guys that are complaining, but I'm on the side of I'm happy to be here and I want to be safe and I want to play. So I think regardless of how weird and how different it is, guys are just going to have to do it, or, you know, really you can just go home.
Baseball's new norm, mask up and keep your distance. According to manager Torey Lovullo, today was another very positive day of Summer Camp 2020. He's been pleased with everything that he's seen so far in terms of pitching, especially with left-hander Robbie Ray taking the mound for Live BP. A free agent after the end of the year, Ray hasn't let up on his training at all during the break, and it shows.
I know I could pitch in a game right now. You know, my arm, my body, everything feels really good.
He said that he was ready to start a baseball season, and he backed that up today.
Robbie Ray's goal since baseball paused to be ready to go day one when things pick back up.
Being the year that it is, I didn't want to be behind the ball. And I'm in a unique situation, kind of a tough situation, honestly, because I'm a free agent next year. And you know, the more that everybody can see me pitch, you know, I honestly, I need to pitch this year.
Torey Lovullo's message to Ray and other players that will be free agents at the end of the year: stay focused at the task at hand.
We're going to have a granular focus here. I think that's what guys will talk about when they're going out to try and compete.
Ray has taken advantage of opportunities when adversity strikes. And when it comes to games without fans, he plans to take advantage of that too.
I've been able to kind of simulate that adrenaline in my bullpen sessions and been able to go, you know, close to max effort anyways. So I might be a little unique in that way where I'm able to kind of replicate that adrenaline and kind of be able to do that. So I think it's only going to work to my advantage.
They'll get a better taste of what it will be like tomorrow when the team has its first inter-squad game.
I've seen enough, and we're ready to take the next step forward and play a hot game. Play where there's two teams out there running around the bases doing what we do best.
Still no sign of corner outfielders David Peralta or Cole Calhoun, but Torey did confirm today that relief pitchers Silvino Bracho and Junior Guerra are among the players that did test positive for COVID-19. So, Coop, Cam, my question to you, we're a few days into this whole summer camp thing. Will this work?
Chierstin, I think it will work, and I think they have the proper protocols in place for everything to be safe out at Chase Field. We'll start when players get to the ballpark. First and foremost, they have to have their temperature checks the moment they walk into Chase Field, and before they even get to the ballpark, they have to pass a COVID-19 test before they can even arrive. When they get there, everyone is in mask. Even players who are not participating in drills have to have masks on throughout the entire day. So it's very serious out there at Chase Field. I believe it will work. But players have to take care of themselves away from the ballpark. And a lot of guys talked about that the first couple of days of camp, what they're exactly doing, and they're being very cautious about what they're doing away from the park, Coop.
Well, Cam, that's just it. You know, if you look at like the NBA and the NHL, they're placing their players and coaches in a bubble, if you will. There's no such bubble for baseball. And then you have, so as a result, you have a baseball player like Mike Trout. Trout is really concerned about playing this season because his wife is pregnant, and he's looking at the safety of his family. That's his biggest concern, and I can't blame the young man. He may really have to battle with the decision as to whether he wants to play and maybe bring home the virus to his family, or if he just wants to stay at home and keep it safe. And that's something a lot of players and coaches are going to have to, decide on their own. Mike Trout's not the only one that's going to have some family issues or family concerns. So, I think baseball's doing all it can to protect the players and coaches and managers and things of that nature. But, hey, at the end of the day, these players are going to have to make a big decision on their own, and it's going to mean that they're not going to get paid. And of course, for a guy like Mike Trout, who's making close to $40 million, even though that will be prorated, he's in pretty good shape. But family decisions come first.
Yeah, there is no blanket response, I think, to this whole situation. I'll just add in there, too, talking to Robbie Ray today, just a guy that feels like he has no choice but to go out there and play this year because he's going to be a free agent, and he needs to prove himself.
Hey, no doubt about it. Hey, let's move on. Hey, the Phoenix Suns will leave for Orlando on Tuesday, where they will go through extensive COVID-19 testing before hitting the floor for full-scale training camp on the 13th. And to a man, the Suns are excited to get back on the court playing again. And the Suns looking to shine in Orlando is our Sunday showcase. They're setting up the courts in Orlando, where the Suns will play 3 exhibition games against the Jazz on the 23rd, the Celtics on the 26th, and the Raptors on the 28th before tipping off their 8-game schedule to determine their playoff fate on the 31st against the Wizards.
We're going down there to win games. I don't know any other way I can say it. We're not going to ride on Space Mountain and do the Disney thing. This is freaking Braveheart and Gladiator stuff.
Florida reported more than 11,000 new cases of COVID-19 on Saturday, setting a new daily record for the state. And even though the NBA is creating a bubble environment to isolate the players and coaches, there is still concern among the ranks.
I don't think there's anyone going down there that's not concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is unprecedented, and it's something that we still don't know as much as we thought we knew about it.
It is dangerous. It is a thing. I think we just follow the rules correctly. We will be good.
But let's not get it twisted. The Suns are very much excited for the opportunity to continue with their season.
Everybody I've talked to, they've been nothing but excited about the chance to play. We understand where we were and where we're going, and this is a huge step for us. So they're excited. They want to hoop.
It's such a blessing, and, we just have to really take time to really embrace our opportunity and really take advantage of this as a team, and I just can't wait to see my guys to really spread this energy to them, to show them what we have ahead of us and what we can do.
As badly as I want to win games, I think I have to err on the side of caution as it relates to minutes. And so I don't want to put Devin or Ricky right out the gate playing 36 to 38. So I think if you cut their minutes down with the idea that you're trying to win every game, I think those extra minutes will give guys a chance to play a little bit more than they would in a normal situation.
Forward Kelly Oubre is the only player not expected to compete with the Suns in Orlando. Now, the Suns aren't given much of a chance to make the playoffs. They have to leapfrog at least 4 teams and be within 4 games of the final playoff spot just to force a play-in game. Hey, now, they have 8 games to do all that in, but don't bother telling them about those long odds, because all that matters to them is they believe that they can get it done.
Coop, those are some long odds, though. You can at least admit those are some long odds.
I can admit it.
All right, let's get you caught up on some Sunday headlines. Hey, NASCAR's return to 12 was just wild. 15 laps in as the cars entered the narrowest pit road in racing. Look at this. We got a pit road pileup. A crew member, watch it right there, gets pinched between 2 cars. Others had to jump over the car just to avoid contact. Thankfully, everybody was okay and smiling afterwards. 9 laps to go. Denny Hamlin looking to lock this thing up back-to-back weeks. Blows a tire, starts a fire. He's out of it. Kevin Harvick makes the pass and holds on for his 3rd win at Indy. It's his 4th win since NASCAR's return.
This is what I grew up wanting to do as a kid. Win at the Brickyard, And to be able to come here and have won for the third time is something that I could have never dreamed of. I want to say hi to my family at home. I know Keelan will be jacked up. Piper's probably asleep. If not, hello.
Always say hi to the family. All right, ever wonder what it looked like to see the Hulk swing a golf club? I give you Bryson DeChambeau, golf's most famous bodybuilder, is all jacked up on protein shakes and hitting some of the longest drives on tour. Final round of the Rocket Mortgage Classic. The dude can do it all. His putter saved him the day, the long birdie on 16. Then his short game sealed the win on 18. Going to stick this right next to the cup. He finished at 23 under, low round of the day at 65. It's his 6th career win on tour, and he's got a message for all you that are questioning his swing.
I wanted people to see a different play style of the game. And I wanted to show people if you work hard enough, you do your absolute best, you give everything you got, you can achieve amazing things. But I will say for the people at home, no matter how much you want to say about me, I love everyone. It's never an issue. And I hope everybody just appreciates the hard work I put in.
All right, coming up next on 12 Sports tonight, will Phil the Thrill bounce back from an injury-filled season? After the break, the Coyotes winger speaks about the return to the ice. Plus, a 14-mile swim. Yeah, is it a big deal? No big deal for a Valley team. Meet the marathon swimmer from Brophy Prep. Coming up next on 12 Sports tonight.
There's a lot to this man that you don't see on the surface.
He was like always driving us.
He may look kind of cuddly on the outside, but inside, he wants to kick your ass.
He knew the game inside and out.
For Coop, being anything but number one is unacceptable.
And I'm sure that's really good for Coop, and that's all he really cares about.
Well, that's on you, because you never won anything. People will see this and say that Coop really wasn't a nice guy, that he was a tyrant. It's who I am. It's how I ran this city. It's my mentality. That's it. I'm done.
For Jordan Osterley, now to Taylor Hall. Rip Swat, he scores! Oh my goodness! Taylor Hall! Keller and Hall. Keller shoots, he scores! Clayton Keller! Low glove!
Phil Kessel didn't have the season he was hoping to have his first year in Arizona. Didn't quite make the impact the Coyotes needed. But with the time away from the ice to rest and heal up some injuries, he's hoping to lead his team to a run in their return.
Obviously, I had a tough year. I think it's probably my most injuries I've had is this year, but that's no excuse, right? It's one of those years, and, obviously, I'm going to look to never have that again. I've never had a year like that. So, I'm looking to bounce back, and, this is a good time to get it started again.
Although Kessel was unwilling to say that injuries were the biggest factor in his performance.
I mean, I'm never going to, put those into, the big factor. I just had it was one of those years, and, it is what it is.
The two-time Stanley Cup champion says he doesn't quite know what to expect when the season picks back up, but knows there's always a difference between the regular season and the postseason, and guys that have been there before will have an advantage.
Yeah, I think it matters. I mean, I think, guys have been there in those spots. They know what to expect and what to do, and I think, to be honest, it's a different level of hockey, and, it's a faster, more crisp game. You remember the atmosphere, I think, is the most thing that you remember. There's nothing like that. And I think, that's the one negative about this is, we're not going to get to experience it in front of the fans, but, it's a different dynamic, and, our team's going to be ready, and, hopefully we can, win some games.
The NHL was supposed to begin training camp this upcoming week, but they've pushed back the starting date to at least July 13th. Meanwhile, the league is expected to announce that the two hub cities where games will be played will be two Canadian cities, Toronto and Edmonton. But again, no official word yet from the league. Cam?
Thanks, Chierstin. Hey, one of the biggest sports still up in the air, college football. Some think they'll find a way to play. Others believe it won't happen. Some want to move it to the spring. Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott says there's a real possibility of playing without some schools this year. Boy, that'd be weird. ASU does not look to be heading in that direction, though. Despite the recent spike in positive cases in Arizona, they already got about 50-plus football players on campus. The freshman class is coming in this week. ASU is still on phase 1 of small group workouts, and Herm Edwards says they're not close to moving to phase 2. Earlier in the week, U of A said they will not allow any more athletes to return to campus, and they won't reopen campus to students under these current conditions. A few football players spoke out on Twitter this week saying, if students can't be on campus, then why are we here? ASU head coach Herm Edwards says schools better figure that out.
When the students come in, how is that all going to look? You know, you can like the NBA. They're keeping them in a bubble right now. It's all protected right now. But eventually, you got to go in the real world. And how's that going to look? And I think no one knows right now. But I'm aware of the fact that what's more important to me is my family, is my girls and my wife. And I've already had discussions with Leah that school does start for the girls. They will come here, and I might stay next door at the hotel because I don't want to affect them.
Very interesting. Get this, Coop. ASU is currently having players dress in 2 different locker rooms right now, and no starters can have lockers next to one another.
It is the new, Cam. You know, on Monday, Governor Doug Ducey put Arizona on notice again. The spike in COVID-19 cases in our state bringing about change once again, a change that will also affect the start of the high school football season.
At this point in time, we are going to delay the first day of school till August 17th.
Governor Ducey's announcement to push back the start of the school year to at least August 17th means big changes for high school football.
If you just look at the standardized calendar, if we would have started practices as planned on July 27th and games on August 21st, if you now apply that to an August 17th start, that probably means we can't start the season until September 11th, which would be week 4.
That could mean playing a shortened season, which most coaches seem to be in favor of.
I have no problem with that whatsoever. I've kind of thought that all along since all the stuff's been coming down, way back when. If we play an 8-game schedule or a 7-game schedule, I'm good with that.
And I would definitely say push things back. I see a way to do all sports, in December, personally speaking. I know it'd be tough, but in our reality, in the new world we live in, kids generally play one sport anyways.
Now, there is also the possibility of pushing football back into the spring, which has sparked some concerns regarding recruiting and scholarships.
I think a lot of it from the high school standpoint is you kind of have to see what the NCAA does as far as, are they going to extend their signing day? Are they going to have a summer or spring signing day? If they do that, then you could do a winter or spring season.
Like I tell our kids, worry about ourselves, man, and do your best and prepare your best, and your resume is your film.
There is also concern from coaches about the leadership or direction from the top.
And I like all those people at the AIA, but I think they need to step up and kind of give us some guidelines of when we should and when we shouldn't at this point, now that Doug Ducey stepped up and did his thing. Because I know teams right now that are literally practicing today, going to camp next week, whereas we're going to have to pump the brakes in our district for a bit, and a lot of districts for that matter. So if we have to face a team that's been rolling all summer, whereas we just had 2 weeks to prepare, it's going to be an unsafe situation for us.
I think the big thing is you just want to see everybody be on the same playing field. And so I know some districts have been more proactive with starting their summer camps than others. And the AIA has kind of taken a step back and not mandated what you can and can't do.
Now, one thing everyone can agree on is playing the games when it's safe for all involved. Now, it has been strongly suggested that since football is a big revenue source at most schools, that football should be moved to the spring, with the spring sports like baseball, softball, and track being pushed to the fall. Now, keep in mind, those sports missed the majority of their seasons last year because of the pandemic, something not lost on AIA Executive Director David Hines.
We missed last year a spring season where our kids were affected. They lost the opportunity to compete for state championships. We had a senior class that lost an opportunity that they don't get to get back. What we don't want to do is punish those kids again by moving or doing something that's different, if at all possible, just because we want to have some other particular sport to take place.
Yeah, with that said, I think most would like to see high school football play a reduced fall schedule as opposed to not at all. Cam?
Coop, I think that's the best way to do it. Just start shrinking the schedules. Next on 12 Sports tonight, escaping limitations. One Valley teen isn't letting the distance, cold, or even sharks stop him. Meet the marathon swimmer from Brophy Prep.
This portion of Sports Tonight is sponsored by Social SEO, generating more leads for your company.
And welcome back to 12 Sports tonight. You know, you'll never know who you're going to meet out on the golf course. Recently, I ran into 17-year-old Henry Palmer. He's a senior out of Brophy High School. As we were talking, it comes up that this kid is a marathon swimmer. What is that? Boy, am I glad I asked.
You can't really describe the feeling that you get being alone in an open ocean with nothing around you.
Henry Palmer is used to living in the water, swimming in the pool since the age of 6, but marathon swimming is just different.
How do you flip that mental switch of not worrying about sharks in the water?
Sharks don't exist. They're just as imaginary as, say, unicorns, you know? So we just pretend that they're not out there.
Palmer got the idea to dive into this from his longtime friend and coach, Joe Zamaitis, who's traveled the world doing this.
So we have a lot of kids that kind of get a taste of that open water swimming, but Henry's definitely the one that's taken that biggest next step into the marathon world.
Henry's first major open water swim was last year, the 20 Bridges swim around Manhattan.
Whole swim, I was just turning to my left, turning to my right, looking at like the amazing buildings and scenery around me.
Covering 28.5 miles in just shy of 8 hours.
And after that, I just fell in love with it.
And this past week, in the first sanctioned marathon swim since COVID-19 hit, Henry completing the swim across the Santa Barbara Channel in 6.5 hours.
The first 2 hours were the hardest part of the swim. Definitely the hardest thing I've ever endured in my life.
14 miles in 59-degree water, half of it in total darkness.
And at that point, it was pitch black. I couldn't tell the difference between the water and the horizon. I was basically just swimming through space. It felt like I didn't know what was around me, what was under me.
Joining Henry in the water was Joe, with his crew chief dad in the boat following them, and mom tracking from dry land.
I'm so proud. It's something I can't imagine. He didn't let go of this, of his dream.
Watching his face as he got back on the boat 6.5 hours later, I could just really sense the excitement like I've never seen from him.
Everyone in the family swims. Henry's dad has even accompanied him on some shorter journeys, but this is on a whole nother level.
It's a feeling you can't find anywhere else, and I just love it.
I could only imagine. So what's next for Henry? Well, he hopes to get 2 more open water swims in this summer, the Lake Tahoe open water swim in late July, and the 20-mile Catalina Island swim, which of course is off the coast of LA. Coop, you down? You want to join him?
Hey, look, Henry, we need to talk, man. 59 degrees, swimming in the dark. No, man, come on. We got to talk for sure.
I knew you were going to say that.
Still ahead on 12 Sports tonight, at least one Diamondback seems to be not too happy with the designated hitter coming to the National League. Yeah, adventures in baseball after the break.
Welcome back to 12 Sports tonight. Time for our last call. Chierstin's on line 1.
Cam, no doubt, not having fans in the stands is less than desirable, but necessary if we want to get back to playing games. But some teams have gotten creative with the whole situation, and I love what Phoenix Rising is doing. They have their first match back this Saturday, July 11th, and the game will be broadcast on ESPN Deportes. It'll be at Casino Arizona Field, but get this, with a $25 donation, you can be in the stands for the game, kind of. They're going to apply a photo of you and your family, whatever you choose, to a cardboard cutout and place that in the stands for everyone to see. We all know the club has some diehard fans, so this should be an easy sellout. But I have an idea. They need to next work on something where you can record your voice, you can record some cheers, some booing, some clapping for them to play in the stands and help them get some noise into those matches.
All right, sounds good, Chierstin. You know, Maya Moore stunned the sports world last year when she announced that she was walking away from her WNBA career to focus on criminal justice reform. And keep in mind, Maya was one of the top 5 players in the entire league. Hey, a winner at every stop. She won 2 national championships in college, 2 Olympic gold medals, and 4 WNBA championships. She walked away in her prime to help free Jonathan Irons from prison. Iron was convicted in 1998 of burglary and assault. He served 22 years of a 50-year sentence. Moore was able to help get his conviction overturned after DNA evidence showed that fingerprints other than Iron's were found at the crime scene. Moore's relentless pursuit of justice has given Iron his freedom and allowed her to dramatically impact our society. A major love and mad props to Maya, Cam.
Coop, she is simply one of the GOATs. Plain and simple. All right, my last call is Madison Bumgarner. The big fella took the mound Saturday out at Chase Field for the first time as a member of the D-backs. And he better get used to that because that's all he's going to be doing this season, and he's not happy about it.
Well, obviously my thoughts don't really matter on that deal. So, you know, I'll do what I'm told. I'll sit there and pitch, and that's it.
Like I said, he's not happy. There's not going to be able to hit in ballparks this season thanks to the new universal DH rule. But get this, Mad Bum almost got hit at practice Saturday. Did Steven Vogt almost take you out with his bat?
Yeah, I think I dropped down through a sidearm to him when he was in there, just a little friendly deal there. He swung. I think he hit the ball, but I don't know if he fouled it off or what. I was going over to talk to Gallen, and then I hear everybody yelling, the bats coming flying through there. So he owed me that, I guess.
Chierstin, Coop, you guys have been around sports a long time. Rule number one, don't hit the quarterback, or in this case, don't throw the bat at your ace pitcher. Come on, man.
Y'all are being over dramatic. It was not that close.
Oh, it was close enough. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Good night, and God bless.